Mess up my rug. God damn. What up, y'all? All right. Cool. What up, y'all? What's up, Kevin? I know y'all didn't think that I was gonna, get the triceps all swelled up yesterday and then not work my biceps today. Today's back and bis day. So yesterday was chest and tris. Today's back and bis. Tomorrow's leg day. Either that or I'm gonna just make it a core day. But either Thursday or Friday is gonna be, leg or core day. Either which way it goes. Today, I'm probably gonna run a good 5 miles, but it'll be at a much slower pace, obviously, than what I ran my 3 mile in yesterday. Just because today is more of a calorie burn type workout. You don't want to push yourself too hard every single day, especially when it comes to running. Just because, your legs got to recuperate. So I need to work out myself. Yeah, man, like it's really refreshing. Like just knowing, like bro, when I tell y'all, it's nothing to carry a bag of groceries. If you're out of shape and you're tired after carrying groceries, that's a problem. That's hazardous for your health. Like when you get to that point, if you get to that point where carrying some groceries up the stairs gets you gassed and out of breath, you're not in good shape, and you need to get in somebody's weight room or get some weightlifting equipment yourself, and you need to start running every day. Today I'm probably gonna just because like I'm very spontaneous when it comes to like post workout stuff, like the cool down after my runs. Today I'm feeling like walking only 2 miles after running 5 miles. But usually at least once a week, I try to make sure that that workout ends up covering over 10 miles or at least 10 miles. So say I run 3 miles, usually I walk like 7 miles. But yesterday I only walked like a mile and a half or 2 miles after running the 3 mile. And then at the end of the well, yeah, I think I only ran like half a mile after running the three. I walked half a mile after running the 3 mile, and then I sprinted, from the start of my apartment complex all the way to my apartment. So you know, like I make it very random. But yesterday, I ran such a good time on the 3 mile that I didn't feel the need to do much after. So today, I'm probably just gonna walk a couple miles, and tomorrow could be my day where I cover a large amount of distance. 'Cause, I'm really just trying to stay, close to my fight weight, whatever that weight may be. It's 152, y'all. And after amateurs, I'll have to decide whether to move down or move up in weight because amateurs welter like there is no super welterweight in regular welterweight or junior welterweight in amateurs. All the welterweights fight the same weight class, so it's like uh, it's 152. There's 141. There's 165. So it's like everything is like 11 to 13 pounds apart as far as weight classes in the amateurs. So the way I see it is, I'd rather move up 2 pounds than to move down 5 pounds because I have a hard enough time making 152. Real talk, like it's getting pretty difficult for me to make 152. What up, Murder Man? Hey, yo, I went ahead and made a post about a young man I had a conversation with before who he's got like a bad outlook on what being a teacher and being involved with a school and working at school is all about, and what it can do for you. Um, he told me he wanted to drop out of school and go work in a warehouse, and and then he said, and I asked why he would drop out. He said, well, why waste time, finishing school when I qualify to go work at a warehouse now, and if I don't, I could just get my GED after I drop out. That's all fine and dandy, but he said, I honestly don't understand how you're a teacher dealing with all those kids and you don't make that much money. And I was like, well, honestly, my guy, as a teacher, I probably make more than your boss because uh, warehouse workers, like warehouse managers, on average, make just over 44,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be making around 68 this upcoming school year. I'll be making around 68,000. So 68,000 is like 44,000 is two-thirds. So like basically whoever that kid's boss will be makes two-thirds of what I make. And that's just as a teacher. You know what I mean? So I I tried to, kind of talk some sense into him, like, hey, I know it seems like a hassle, but there's always going to be ups and downs for every career you have. So you might as well pick one that's going to be rewarding. You know, your response to me only took a good 20 seconds. Just saying. Oh, yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. If you mean that in a good way, that's what's up. Yeah, man. Like I don't understand what's going on with the youth these days with this whole, I'm gonna quit school and work thing. Education is honestly the best way to get by in the world because if you don't know nothing, you're not gonna be worth something to somebody else, and you never know. Even the other people that don't know nothing, that may have gotten lucky and started their business or gotten rich, they don't want other people that don't know nothing working for them. They want somebody smarter than them working for them. You see what I'm saying? So it's always better to have an educational advantage. The best way to improve, the best way to impress somebody is being smarter than that person, or as smart as them, or somewhere near it. You know, whenever I was the director at LA Fitness, and I was responsible for hiring my own employees. Like I didn't have anybody do that for me. I had to hire my own employees, so I had to do interviews. Interviews took away from me and my performance on my job. So I had to find a very legitimate way to quickly find good candidates. So I had to weed people out. So I looked through all my submissions of people that wanted to get hired for the job, and all I would do was look through to see, and once I found somebody that had a certain standard, anything less than that, I just went ahead and deleted those messages. I didn't even read them because you got hundreds of messages in your inbox for people trying to get a job. You know what I mean? So, say I saw somebody who had a degree in kinesiology. All the emails that did not have degrees, I'll go ahead and delete all those messages right off the top. And then after that, say I found two people that got master's degrees. Now I got that one guy with a degree, and that one girl with a master's degree, and a guy with a master's degree. So now I'm looking at those three. The moment I found somebody else that had a master's degree, bye bye to the guy who only has one degree. You're always looking for the top candidates. So I'm not trying to do a million interviews because I've got my own job to do. So I have three people that got master's degrees, which is what I had at the time. Now I have two. So at the time I had a master's degree. So I picked people that, had achieved what I had achieved or more. And I interviewed those folks. When you're interviewing three people that have similar resumes, you start looking for differences. So like at the last hour of my job, basically when it's getting to the point where like less people are coming into the gym and I don't have much to focus on, I would read through those resumes and I would find like the best qualities and compare them to the other person's best qualities, you know, and then whenever that I would base the questions I was going to ask them in the interview based on what I saw on the resume or what wasn't answered on the resume. So because all three of them had master's degrees, I asked them about transcripts. I was like, "Hey, do you have your transcripts with you?" Two of them brought the transcripts. Another guy didn't. So the two that brought the transcripts, I called them back for a follow up interview. They both ended up getting hired. Both of them. I hired both of them. They had good grades. They finished. They took classes over the summer, so they finished their bachelor's and their master's in a timely fashion, just like I did. I took summer classes and stuff. So those were the two people I hired. But keep in mind, before that, I had hundreds of emails. I had hundreds of candidates I had to look at. And I narrowed it in a matter of a day, I narrowed it down to two. So it's very important that you get an educational advantage. Because for one, if you don't have a degree in something, you're limited to what type of jobs you can get. Therefore, you're limited to the experience you can get. And people say, oh, college holds you back. College puts you at a disadvantage because you're still in school. Man, peep this. I had a couple classes a day, and then I had sports, and then I had different organizations I was a part of, and I worked the job. Most people did not make themselves and do not make themselves as busy as I made myself in college, and I still managed to work a job and get some experience under my belt while I was going to school. So that excuse is baloney. And then people talk about, oh, well, college loans and all that stuff. Well, yeah, you have to get loans if you don't get a scholarship. I had an academic scholarship because I handled my business in high school. So it all starts where you are right now. What you're trying to do in the future starts right now. And when I say what I'm about to say, I'm speaking mainly to kids. If you're in the beginning of high school, or if you're in middle school, or even if you're a senior in high school, start focusing towards your future right now. And if you know your GPA isn't going to be above a 3.0 going into college, find a way to rectify that. Get a job. And the way I see it is, if you're not an athlete, there's no way you should be getting anything less than a 3.0 anyways, because you don't have as many distractions. And I don't say this to be mean or rude, but 9 times out of 10, if you're not like in band, if you're not on a debate team, which usually academic students are on the debate team, so like those guys and girls score high grades anyway. But if you're not competing in something, you have less in your way. So you have a lot more mind space and time to focus on your schoolwork. And if you're not doing that, that's your fault. Because and I don't want to hear about growing up in poverty or coming from a rough neighborhood, because I've been through all that and some. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's about how bad you want it. It doesn't matter if the people that are in your lane don't have the same disadvantages as you. Work through them. That'll make you better for whenever it does come down to you and this person that's had everything handed to him. You know how many jobs I've gotten over somebody else that lived a more privileged childhood than I did? Because I didn't make excuses for it. You have to rise above those type of things, overcome it. And the young man that I was talking about in my community post, he told me that there's no guarantee that he won't get caught up in the streets. That's what he told me. Let me see. Nah, remember yesterday I said it was like 30 seconds, but you saw me right off the rip and it was more like 20 seconds. You're saying, okay, yeah. Good. So that means the lagging is slowing down a little bit. And I saw that you had posted this before, but I was just trying to finish what I was saying. So I don't think that was a lag. But yeah, like I really wish that people were more keen to like being more preventative or proactive instead of waiting for things to slip out of their control. Like a lot of people will wait until their circumstances are permanent to wanna react to what's going on. It's too late at that point. It's way too late at that point. You know, I don't get why people do that. And this camera makes that door look way closer to me than it actually is. Like it looks like I could touch it from here. What up, Kiwi? Yeah, I honestly just hope that kids start taking, their current situations a little more seriously. Because when that young man told me, why would I waste time going to school and not getting paid when I could just go work at a warehouse? Buddy, like warehouse workers, like the top paid, like the maximum a warehouse worker can make, and this is somebody that's not a manager, this is a warehouse worker. The maximum they can make with overtime is 30K a year. That's 30K a year. That's less than half of what I'm making as a teacher. You see what I'm saying? And to him, that was a better option than what I'm going through because I deal with so much and I don't get paid very much. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be one of those people that tells you teachers don't get paid enough. I think teachers deserve more for what they do? Yeah, but we do get paid enough. We're not living in times where teachers are only making $45,000 a year anymore. Like there's a lot of it. Like I was a substitute 2 years ago. Last year, which is 1 year ago, I was a first year teacher. It's my second year as teacher of record. Next year, I will be going into my third year. In my third year, I'll be making way more than a lot of teachers that have been teaching for 5 or 6 years because they thought, well, um, I've been working this job this long and I still don't make that much. So, forget it. I'm not going to try anymore. Once they stop trying and their test scores started going down and they stopped going to trainings and stopped following the TEI program, once they stop doing all that, next thing you know, the TEI program just gets better and better. And the TEI program is a Teachers Excellence Initiative. So basically, like teachers that are daring to be great, to go above and beyond. Me, I already had a lot of this stuff handed to me on a golden plate or a silver platter because, for one, I'm in a fraternity. So all I had to do was submit stuff that I've done with my fraternity. I was in a mentoring program in college. I submitted that stuff. It also helped as far as me having a master's degree. You know what I'm saying? Why am I cooking any of that thing on my birthday? Heck yeah, hey, tell somebody they need to be cooking for you. It's your birthday, dog. They need to be cooking for you. But yeah, another thing I did was, and my principal pushed me to do this. Uh, I got the students, that I coach involved with the YMCA football league, and we had our own team or whatever. So that also helped. And like they give you stipends for different things. I got stipends for coaching and all that stuff. This year, I helped lead. Well, I led, and my athletes obviously did the performance, but I led my athletes to their first district championship in cross country at AW Spence. So achievement and actually trying will pay the ticket for you. You know what I mean? Like all those people that are just like, oh, why would I waste my time doing this and that? Bro, if you've ever read a book called 10,000 Hours, you would understand that the more time you put into something, the better you get at it, and the more like it becomes more and more second nature. And those 10,000 hours don't have to be you literally competing or you literally training for it. Like some of that time includes you thinking about it and really reflecting on it. I think about boxing all day, every day. I train a large portion of the day for boxing. I watch boxing. I study boxing. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like within the next year or so, I'll have hit my 10,000 hours. Because when you think about it, uh, 10,000 hours is pretty much, oh, I put divided by on accident. So there's 8,760 hours in 1 year. That's how many hours are in 1 year. So think about it. If you're thinking about it every day, you train every day. When you're not training, you're watching boxing. You're getting at least, half of that year, like half of that, at least half of that year is dedicated to, the boxing. So you know what? I take that back. Nah, I take that back. I say like a quarter of it. I'll say a quarter of it. So like 2,190 hours in 1 year. 2,190 in 1 year. So imagine, 5 years later, you hit that 10,000 hours, you're going to look completely different from what you look like in that beginning year. I got to get me a soulmate and I'll cook for her accordingly. Heck yeah. Hey, I heard soulmates are better than girlfriends. But like, it baffled me when old dude said that because, you know, y'all know I know somebody that comes from the warehouse world, and at a certain point, I worked in a warehouse. That wasn't my only job at the time, but I worked at a warehouse, and it's not a fun job. It's not a rewarding job. Like most warehouse jobs will start you off at $8 an hour, or 8.50 an hour, something like that. Like $8. Some of them 8.75, $9. I was working at the UPS warehouse at one point, and it started me off at $10 an hour. And this was just a special thing because they were in need for workers. And UPS usually pays their workers a lot more than most other warehouses pay. Like Amazon and UPS and FedEx pay the most for their warehouse workers. Amazon, I believe, pays like 12 something for their workers. But even that being the case, that person's only making like $26,000 a year. Off that type of salary, you can't buy yourself a house. Like when you let me break it down for y'all. So let's say it's the best case scenario for a warehouse worker, and you're making 26,000, which is a very very high median, a very high median, because as I posted before, the top average is Texas, and that's $24,575 a year. So 26,000 is a high maximum or whatever, a high minimum median. So divide 26,000 by 12. You've got you 2,167, approximately $67 a month. So that's before taxes. So the 19 somebody who makes only 20 something $1,000 a year, they're in the tax bracket where they're taking out, I believe, 17% of that check. So multiply that by 0.17, and so they're taking $368.33 out of that check. Okay, so $368.33. So 6,000 divide by 12. Okay. Take away $368.33. So this is how much that person's taking home after taxes. That's $1,798 that person is taking home after taxes. So say you live in a one-bedroom apartment which most of them nowadays out here in Texas are in the high 700s that don't include utilities or anything like that. So after all your utilities, you're looking at 850, or on average, you're looking at eight or $900 for that one bedroom apartment. So say you have a family, like when that kid, if your kid is older than the age of 2, they need their own room. They can't be in the room like that. That affects the development of a child. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to need to get you a 2-bedroom apartment, which goes up at least $200 on how much your rent's going to be. So say you find you a nice cheap $1,000 apartment. So you take away, and I'll just say that's me being nice, bro. That's just me being nice. Take away 1,000 after you've paid your rent. This is how much you have left. So, do you have a car? Is it a cash car? If it's a cash car, you're scot free. You're good, but you still got to pay insurance on it. So 9 times out of 10, if you're not making that much money and you working at a warehouse, which 9 times out of 10, if you didn't go to college, you don't have a long, extensive credit score. So you don't have years and years and years worth of credit history. So 9 times out of 10, your credit score is going to be pretty low. So if you get a car, or you know that it'll affect your car insurance for one, because you don't have much history. So you're looking, if you only have liability, you could get away with 100. So we'll just take 100 off that $798 you have left. That's 698.33. Okay. Say you do have a car note. Car notes, the smallest car notes, with me having a good credit score, smallest car note I've had is like 300 something dollars. So take away $300. I'll just say 300. I'll be nice. That's $398 left over, guys. Babies are expensive. They need clothes. They're constantly growing. They need food, all that good stuff. You're paying at least $200 a month on your baby. So we're going to say $200 a month on just a baby. That's how much money you and your woman that are taking care of that baby have left over. That's how much y'all have left over. To do what? Pay for gas, especially if you commute to work. Pay for food for you guys to eat, because that $200 a month is just for the baby. What if you have an emergency? You won't be able to cover it. So 9 times out of 10, somebody that's working in a warehouse will more than likely need financial help outside the household. So when I tell you dropping out of school to go work at a warehouse is not worth it, guys. It's not. It really isn't. People that drop out of high school are more likely to shack up with somebody because of financial difficulties. A lot of people do end up getting significant others once they drop out of high school, and things are rushed. The process isn't taken slowly. I'm 28 years old. My child is 3. Y'all keep that in mind. Just 4 months after my son turns 4, I will turn 29. So I'm almost 25 years older than my child. His mother is 24, is uh, a little less than 24 years older than him. See what I'm saying, y'all? It's like it's a lot that goes into it. And while I'm talking to this young man, that's everything that's going through my head. And if you're somebody, if in that position, if you're somebody that likes to wear nice clothes and all that stuff, either you're buying it for yourself with that financial situation, either you're buying it for yourself and neglecting your actual responsibilities, or somebody else is buying you those nice things and are responsible for your swag. Okay, but what exactly were you do? Were you doing in that position, Murder Man? Because I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's not a better situation than having a career. And were you happy working in that warehouse? Is another thing. Because I worked in a warehouse, bro. Like I'm not saying I'm not career shaming or anything like that. I'm not career shaming at all. I'm saying as people, we should want more. Because I remember I worked every bit of my shift when I was at UPS. We had two 5 minute breaks and a 15-minute lunch break. So we had a total of 25 minutes off for that 8 hour shift that we would work. I was working from 10 at night to 4 in the morning sometimes, sometimes midnight to 8. Oh yeah, it's like well, so what I was getting at was the gentleman telling me that he like first of all, he considered working at a warehouse a lot of money. Like the that's not a lot of money. 9 times out of 10, when you say it's workable, yeah, it's workable, but you've got to your best case scenario if you're working a warehouse job is to not have a family that's dependent on you, not have a car note, not have full coverage on a vehicle. You would have to have liability, and you can't just go buy any type of groceries you want. You got to buy cheap stuff. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have somebody financially supporting you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro. So right now, I live in an apartment complex, right? But on average, like so far, what I've made from YouTube, it averages about to 1,500 a month. And we'll just throw that out there. Well, maybe a little bit less. Maybe like 1,200 a month is the average that I make from YouTube. So 1,200, I say 1,200 times 12 months. That's $14,400. So you add that to what I make as a teacher. And I don't want to brag or nothing, but this is likely, what the end of my year will look like whenever I have to file my taxes. So keep in mind, yeah, like keep in mind, and bro, I'm not down talking any of that or nothing, bro. I'm just what I'm trying to do is put people in a mindset of reaching way further. Because to me, we should all want to be financially free. Like human beings are not meant to work their entire lives. Because when you think about it, bro, the majority of your life is spent working, and then you don't get to relax until a retirement age, which for a lot of people is in their 60s. So you're living out your last decade with physical pains, like for the most part. I'm not saying this is going to be everybody, but when you finally get to relax, you don't have much to relax with, and your body is different. You don't get to have the fun you would have been able to have if you hadn't spent your entire life working. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to put people in the headspace of reaching for much more. But on top of this, y'all, my lady has her own career. She's making 40 plus thousand a year. So together we make six figures. So we're living way below our means right now. Like we can afford to live in a house right now, but instead we're living in a two-bedroom apartment, stacking up. That's the mentality people should have. Of course, we all want better, but no matter what, you can work your present situation. Most definitely, bro. But my point of bringing all this up is the young man in the community post I was telling y'all about. He's saying that it's better, bro. Chill. Like that's not a direct amount. That's an estimation. I'm trying to give people a mental picture. But dude said he's better off dropping out of school and going to make a lot of money at a warehouse. That's not the case, bro. That's not the case. You mean to tell me you think that no, it's not me degrading, bro. It's me stating a fact. You have a better lifestyle if you have more. That's it. It's not me saying that that person's got bad character. It's not me saying that that person's lazy. It's not me saying that person's ugly. It's not me saying that that person's I'm not even calling them broke. I'm not calling them anything. All I'm saying is with more, you will be more comfortable. And regardless of your situation, you should want more. Realistically, there are things you will not be able to do if you have less. Because what's also included in lower class are people that are homeless. A homeless person doesn't have a home because they can't afford rent. That's because they don't make enough money to afford rent. So I'm just stating facts, bro. Like I'm not degrading anybody. It would be a different story if I was talking about that person's character or their work ethic or anything like that. All I'm saying is shoot higher. And I'm saying this because the young man is already counting himself out. The kid's in middle school. He's already counting himself out. He says he wants to drop out. And this is a kid that, used to run for my cross country team. Khalil, what is that? Wait, I'll come in there in a minute. I mean, yeah, it goes without saying, but I'm trying to explain to you that what I was saying wasn't me degrading somebody else. Like I'm not down talking anybody. I swear I gotta stop with this live chat ish. The delay is so annoying. Yeah, bro, like at the end of the day, I'd rather be in the position I'm in now than the position that that young man's trying to put himself in. Is basically what I'm saying. And I'd rather be rich than the position that I'm in right now. Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all see what I'm getting at? I don't think, I'm not calling anybody bummy or anything like that. It's just everybody should want more, especially somebody who's got a chance to have more. Look at the world we live in right now. We're in a digital age where people can get rich off of social media. And kids are at multiple stages where they can earn, like they can get good at something that can make them famous one day. You know how many people are famous on Instagram for playing instruments? How many, like, and I know homeless people that are good with instruments, but they were born in the wrong era. They missed the opportunity. They don't have social media, and they don't have a nice background to play their instrument in. They're on the streets playing that instrument, just as good as the people that are getting famous on Instagram playing those instruments. People get famous on Instagram for dancing. That avenue, all I can say is I wish you could see how hard it is for me to keep up with you right now. I'm gonna get the call in, my guy. I promise you. I'm gonna get the call in. But hey, I'm gonna jump off right now and I'm gonna get back on in a little bit. All right. I fit in out.